Ever wondered what happens when an ordinary seed grows into something so gigantic that even the strongest farmer can pull it free? Well, get ready! Because a whole village is about to learn a powerful lesson in teamwork that will change the way they see each other forever. It all started on a bright, sunny morning. An old farmer woke up, stretched his arms, and went out to check on his garden, just like any other day. But this day was different. The turnip seed he had planted just a little while ago had grown into something unbelievable. It was enormous. Bigger than his wheelbarrow, bigger than his cow, bigger than anything he had ever seen in his entire life. The farmer knew he had to harvest this magnificent vegetable. It would feed his family for the whole winter. So he grabbed the leafy top with both hands, leaned back, and pulled with all his might. He grunted. He groaned. He strained every muscle in his body. But that giant turnip didn't move. Not even a wiggle. It was stuck fast in the earth. Well, he thought, I just need a little help. So he called for his wife. Honey, come and help me with this turnip. His wife came out, her eyes wide with amazement when she saw the size of it. Goodness me, she exclaimed. So she held onto the farmer's waist, and the farmer held onto the turnip. Together, they pulled, and they pulled, and they pulled. They pulled so hard their faces turned red, but still, the enormous turnip stayed firmly in the ground. It just wouldn't budge. Realizing they needed more muscle, they called for their granddaughter, who was playing nearby. She ran over, her pigtails bouncing. Wow, Grandpa! That's the biggest turnip in the world, she giggled. She grabbed onto her grandmother's waist. The grandmother held the farmer, and the farmer held the turnip, and the three of them pulled and pulled and pulled with all their strength. But guess what? Nothing. The turnip remained stubbornly rooted in the soil. Just then, their big, loyal dog came bounding over, barking excitedly. Woof, woof, he seemed to say. Let me help. So the granddaughter held on to the dog's tail. The dog dug its paws into the ground, and the whole line pulled together. They pulled, and heaved, and hoed. But still, that enormous turnip refused to move. A lazy cat, who had been napping in the sun, strolled by, yawning. The family pleaded with the cat to lend a paw. The cat looked at the giant vegetable, looked at the struggling family, and with a flick of its tail, reluctantly agreed. The cat held onto the dog's tail, and the whole team gave another mighty tug. But even with the farmer, the wife, the granddaughter, the dog, and the cat, the turnip didn't move an inch. It seemed hopeless. They were all about to give up when a tiny little mouse scurried past, its whiskers twitching. Seeing the long line of people and animals, the mouse squeaked, "Can I help?" Everyone looked down and started to laugh. How could a tiny little mouse possibly help with such a big, impossible job? But the farmer, willing to try anything, said, "All right, little one, get in line." So the brave little mouse took its place at the very end of the line, holding on to the cat's tail. Everyone took a deep breath. 1, 2, 3, pull. They all shouted, and with that final, combined effort, pop! The turnip suddenly shot out of the ground, sending everyone tumbling backward in a happy, laughing pile. They had done it! The enormous turnip was finally free. Everyone cheered, especially for the tiny mouse. They all realized that every single helping hand, no matter how big or small, had mattered. The strength of the farmer, the support of his wife, the energy of the granddaughter, the power of the dog, the cooperation of the cat, and yes, the final little push from the tiny mouset was their teamwork that made the difference. That evening, they cooked a grand feast. They chopped up the enormous turnip and made a delicious, hearty soup. There was so much that they invited the entire village to share it. As everyone sat together, eating and celebrating, they all understood the lesson of the day. Unity is strength. When we all work together, even the smallest one of us can help achieve the greatest things. Thanks for watching. If you loved this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure. See you soon!